Hello Anatomy, this is Dr. V here with some video instructions for the patient digital brochure, also known as the body system digital poster. So what you're doing in this project is designing a 2-slide digital brochure for a patient who has just been diagnosed with one of the diseases you found in your organ system. So think back to that background research document where you had to fill out a table with a number of diseases in your body system. You were going to choose one of those diseases and imagine there is a patient who has just been diagnosed, whether it be depression for the nervous system or endometriosis for the female reproductive system, or maybe emphysema for the respiratory system. You're pretending that patient is looking for some basic information both on the body system itself that's affected and their disease. Slides 2 and 3 in this template are going to be what is required for proficient. Okay, so slide number 2 is the slide that really focuses on the body system itself. You're just giving the patient some basic ideas about that system. Let's take the example of Crohn's disease. Crohn's disease is a digestive illness. So if that was our patient, we would give the patient some background about the digestive system. So we would type the name of our system in that top box. Whatever the function is, we would type that in the lower box, keeping in mind that we want this at a reading level that is fairly low. We want it to be accessible to pretty much anyone in the population. We also want to keep it free of medical jargon. We want to put things in simple terms. We want to make this colorful and appealing to the eye. Okay, so I would type the name of the organ system here. Then what I'm doing is actually inserting images. So how I do that is insert, image, search the web, of each of the organs inside my system. So not just the organs that are affected by the disease, but this is just where I'm keeping it real broad. So digestive system, we're going to be looking for a liver, a stomach, an esophagus, small intestine, etc. There are a few others as well. So here, to show you an example, I'm looking for a liver. I found a nice picture of a liver that I like here. It's actually a real liver, not a cartoon, so that's pretty cool. I'm going to insert it. I'm going to resize it, and then I'm actually going to drag and drop it on this template human at the appropriate spot. All right, so that's the key. The liver does not belong up here, nor does it belong down here. So if you would like to receive credit for that placement, make sure it's in the right spot. And there are so many internet resources for you to make sure you do have that in the correct location. These text boxes here are for labeling the name of the organ and also its function. So liver, just to give some example, processing nutrients from food, drug, alcohol, metabolism. So that might be something that would be relevant for the patient to know about what the liver does. So again, in these text boxes, we're looking for the name of the organ and then also looking for its function. We are going to adjust these arrows accordingly. So we're actually pointing at that organ. And please feel free to adjust anything on the slide, the font, the background color. You can move things all around. You might need more text boxes. So I would say if you know from the top of starting that you need 7 text boxes, I would just copy and paste as many of those as you need, and you can delete them if you don't need them. Same with the arrows. All right, so going back here, hitting the back button to get rid of the excess, but that's how you would do this slide. The next slide is where you really focus in on the patient's diagnosis. So for the diagnosis of Crohn's disease, I have put that diagnosis at the top, and then there are 4 things this patient needs to know. Number 1, what causes this disease and what organs are affected. So that is something that you should have already on your background research document. Feel free to use some other resources other than the articles that were linked. What are the symptoms of Crohn's disease? How can this person expect their daily life to be impacted? And then what are the treatments? Each box also must contain 1 relevant image for 4 total. For example, if one of the treatments of Crohn's disease is an injection, I'm going to go insert image, and maybe I will look up an injection and find an image I like. So in addition to the text, I will have an image. So just a visual for the patient. I have placed some bullet points in each box for you to use as kind of a starting point to organize your text. If you don't want to use bullet points, if you want to use squares or arrows or stars, that is completely fine. You might need more bullet points, you might need less. Again, this is just a template. Also, if you don't like these yellow kind of alerts here, these yellow labels, you may adjust them, take them away. You might want to add a label in the box. I want you to be creative, change the background color. These reminders should be deleted before you actually submit, but I just wanted to have these on here so you have a guide as you're working on it. Okay, so those are the required slides. Background information about the organ system and then the disease. If you're going for AD, advanced, there is an additional slide that you will complete. So this slide is talking a bit about the history of that disease. When was it discovered? Does it have other names? How common is the disease? What is the incidence? Incidence is usually reported per 100,000 people. So we're looking for that for the US, also worldwide. What are the age, sex, racial profiles of patients who are most impacted? Is this a disease that affects all racial groups equally? Does it affect younger people, older people, males, females? And then you're going to have to find some additional sources to look up this information. So those need to be cited in APA format. And what I've done in the notes portion of this slide is giving you a couple examples of APA format, whether the website was written by a single author or a group, such as the Center for Disease Control or the CDC. So these are guides that can help you as you fill out that sources box. We need a minimum of 3 images on that optional AD slide. So I would probably put those 3 images on not the sources box, but these other 3. Again, just looking for things that are relevant, that catch the patient's eye, that help to explain what they need to know about their disease. In terms of the scoring rubric, you can find that here. I'll also link it on the assignment itself. Really, to get a below a proficient, we need at least 2 or more elements that are missing. So if there are 2 or more elements missing, or 3 or more elements missing, we're going to be in the basic minimal category. Shoot at least for a PR, and I would love to see your work for the advanced slide. I don't think that should take you too much extra time, and you'll learn a lot about the disease. Lastly, I'm going to mention that if you're doing the male or female reproductive system, I would like you to use these images that I have already found. You have a couple choices. Rather than searching for each individual organ in the search bar, for example, if you have female reproductive system, you could copy and paste this image back on this organ system slide and delete that template. I also have an example if you wanted to do upper and lower portions of the female reproductive system separately. And then there are a couple options for male as well. So no need to search for those images separately. Again, just use these. You have a little bit of a shortcut here. All right, so this will be due Wednesday at 11:59. Let me know if you have any questions at all, and I look forward to seeing your work.